I hope all of you are doing good. Let's start today's chapter, fractions and decimal fractions. Introduction. In this chapter, we will learn about fraction, its types, addition, subtraction, multiplication and addition of fractions. In addition, here in this chapter, decimal fraction will be discussed in detail. Okay, fraction. Fraction is a number which can be expressed in the form a by b, where a and b are whole numbers and b is not equals to 0, or a fraction is a part of a whole or a collection of object. Example, 3 by 7 is a fraction because 3 and 7 both are whole numbers. Similarly, 4 by 3, 8 by 3, 1 by 2 are also examples of fractions. Types of fractions. A brief discussion of all types of fractions is given below. Number 1, like fractions. Fractions with same denominator like fractions, which you already know, okay. Number 2, unlike fractions, fractions with different denominators are unlike fractions. For example, all these are unlike fractions. 3, improper fractions. Fractions in which the numerator is greater than the denominator are called improper fraction, as you can see in these examples, okay. Next is proper fractions. Fractions in which the numerator is less than the denominator are known as proper fractions. And 5, mixed fractions. Fractions which are combination of whole number and fraction are called mixed fractions. Okay. For example, these are the mixed fractions. Note, mixed fraction can be converted to improper and improper can be converted into mixed fraction. Okay. For example, this is improper fraction and we have converted this in mixed fraction, right? Number 6, equivalent fractions. If the numerator and denominator of a fraction are multiplied or divided by the same whole number, okay, that shouldn't be 0, right? We get a fraction which is equivalent to the given fraction, right? For example, 1 by 3. If you multiply both the numerator and denominator by 2, we will get 2 by 6. So, 1 by 3 and 2 by 6, these two are equivalent fractions, okay? Similarly, if you multiply 1 by 3, means numerator by 3 and denominator by 3, you will get 3 by 9. That means 3 by 9 is equivalent. All these three fractions are equivalent, right? Number 7, decimal fractions. A fraction whose denominator is any of the numbers like 10, 100, 1000, etc. is called a decimal fraction. For example, all these are decimal fractions. 8, vulgar fractions. A fraction whose denominator is a whole number other than 10, 100, 1000, etc. is called a vulgar fraction. Okay, for example, all these are vulgar fractions. Decimal fractions. Decimal. It is a fraction whose denominator is 10 or any integral power of 10. For example, 3 by 10, 4 by 10 raised to the power 3 and 357 by 10 raised to the power 5, etc. Okay, a dot is called a decimal point, okay, which you know that very well, is properly placed to remove the denominator of a decimal fraction. Okay, for example, 38 by 10 is what? How you will write in decimal? 3.8. Okay, 3.8. Similarly, 38 by 100, how will you write it as? See, there are 2 zeros, so we will place decimal after 2 digits starting from the right. 1, 2, here. And how we gonna read it as? 0.38. Okay. Next, decimal. The numbers expressed in decimal forms are called decimals. For example, 5.2, 21.32, 8.467, etc. Okay. Decimal has 2 parts. For example, this is a decimal. It has 2 parts. This is whole part. Okay. And whole number part, you can say whole number part. And this is a decimal part. After decimal is decimal part. Okay. So, for example, 21.32, 21 is a whole part and 32 is decimal part, okay. And read as 21.32, not 32, right? Because after decimal, we read the digit 1 by 1, okay. Decimal places. The number of decimal places is equal to the number of digits contained in a decimal part of a decimal. For example, in 8.3, 6.23 and 10.145, all the numbers have, see, 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place and 3 decimal place or 3-digit you can say in decimal parts. Okay, so to the extreme right of the decimal part of a decimal we can put any number of zeros. Okay, the value of decimal does not change, means 5.3 you can add one more zero, so it is 5.30. you can add 2 zeros or you can add 3 zeros. Value of these decimals is similar. Okay, now see this flow chart. Types of decimals, like and unlike. Like decimals having the same number of decimal places, like example is given here, and unlike decimals which are having different number of decimal places. Okay, now comparing decimals. Honey has rupees 25 and 50 paise and Salma has 25 rupees and 75 paise. Who has more money? To find this, we need to compare the decimal numbers 25.50 and 25.75. So methods of comparing decimals. Number 1, convert the given decimals into like decimals if it is unlike. But as we can see, these two are like decimal. So no need to convert them into like decimals because they are already like decimals. Number 2, first compare the whole number. Okay, so 25 point how much? 650 and 25.75. Okay, first we will compare the decimal part, whole number part, but the whole number part is equal. Okay, if whole number parts are equal, compare the 10th digit. Now move on to 10th digit. Here 5, here 7. Which one is greater? Undoubtedly 7. Okay, so if 10 digits are equal, compare the 100 digit and so on. So in this example, rupees 25 75 paise is greater than 25 rupees and 50 paise, right? Converting a decimal fraction into a vulgar fraction. To convert a decimal fraction into a vulgar fraction, follow these steps. Number 1, remove the decimal point and write the resulting number as numerator. At the same time, in the denominator, write as many zeros to the right of 1 as the decimal places in the given number. 2, reduce the vulgar fraction obtained in step 1 to its lowest terms. Okay. Example is 0.77 by 10. Why 10? Because there is only one decimal part. Okay. 7.49 is, first write the digit as it is without decimal and then write 1 in the denominator and then put zeros. How many zeros you gonna write here? See, 1, 2. There are 2 decimal parts, so you will write 2 zeros. Okay. 4 fundamental operations on decimal fractions. Number 1, addition and subtraction. Okay. For example, you have to evaluate 6 whole, 6 2 by 5 plus 4 4 by 15 plus 3 5 by 9 minus 2 3 by 10. Okay. So first what will you do? First you will convert these mixed fraction to improper fractions. Okay. 6 5s are 30 plus 2, 32 by 5. 15 4s are 60 plus 4, 64 by 15 plus 9 7s are 25 plus 5, 32 by 9. And 2 10s are 20 plus 3, 23 by 10. Okay. Now we will take LCM of 5, 59 and 10. And after taking LCM is 90. Okay. Now we will make the denominator 90. Okay. Okay. Now for making this number 95, we have to multiply by 18. That means we will also multiply 32 by 18. Okay. Here we will multiply by 15 6 are 90, so we will multiply by 6 plus. Here you will multiply by 10. Here you will multiply by 9. Okay. Now multiply them and write the answer. This is 576 plus 384 plus 320 minus, okay, this minus is here, 207 upon 90. Now students, what will you do? You will add these 3 numbers and then after adding, after getting sum, you will subtract this number then by 90. Okay, and then you will convert the given fraction into mixed fraction. Okay, let's do example 2. We have to add 3.21 and 2.34. 3.21 and 2.34. Remember, always while adding or subtracting, always remember decimal should be under decimal. Okay. 4 plus 1, 5, 3 plus 2, 5, decimal 3 plus 2 is 5. So 5.55 is the answer, right? Note, number 1, write down the numbers under one another with the decimal points in the same vertical line. Number 2, add them as is done in ordinary addition, and in the result place decimal point in the same vertical line that is just under all decimal points, right? Note, number 1, write down the subtrahend, that is the number to be subtracted, under the number from which the subtraction is to be done, that is minute, such that their decimal points are the same vertical line. And 2, subtract like an ordinary subtraction, and in the result place decimal point just under the other decimals. Okay. B, multiplication and fractions. Number 1, multiplication of decimal by 10, 100 and 1000, etc. Method, on multiplying a decimal number by 10, 100, 1000, the decimal point is shifted to the right by 1 if we are multiplying by 10, and that it is shifted to the right by 2 if we are multiplying by 100, and the decimal point is shifted to the right by 3 if we are multiplying by 1000. Okay. For example, 673.234 into 10. Okay. Now, this point will shift right by 1 only, means from here it will come here. So, 673.34. Okay. Next is 673.234 into 100. Okay. Now, this point, where will this point shift? To the right by 2. 1, 2. So, this decimal will come here, that is 67323.4, right? Number 2, multiplication of a decimal by a whole number. Method, multiply the whole number by decimal, means without the decimal point. Mark the decimal point in the product from right side to have as many decimals as there are in the given decimal. For example, 12 into 3.82. First, find the product of 12 and 382, means first you will ignore the decimal. Okay, and after multiplying, when you get the product, then you have to place the decimal, and then you will calculate how many decimal parts are there. See, there are 2 decimal parts, so we will put the decimal after 2 digits starting from the right. Okay. Number 3, multiplication of a decimal by a decimal. Method, first multiply the decimal numbers as if ordinary numbers, means you have to ignore the decimal points. Number 2, mark the decimal point in the product after as many as placed from the right as the sum of the decimal places in the product. For example, 82.73, and you have to multiply 7.4. First, count how many decimal parts are there in first number. 1, 2, and here 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. That means you will put the decimal after 3 digits starting from the right in the product. Okay. So the product is 610722. Okay. And where we gonna place the decimal? See, 1, 2, 3. Here we will place the decimal. Okay. Now let's do the example. 1, 0.2 into 6. 0.2 into 6. 2 6 are 12. Now place the decimal after 1 digit, that is 1.2. Okay. Division is in fraction. Number 1, division of whole number by a fraction. To divide a whole number by a fractional number, we multiply the whole number by the multiplicative inverse or reciprocal of the fractional number. For example, 2 divided by 1 by 3. 2, we will do the reciprocal of this and we will write here multiplication. Okay, the sign of multiplication. 2 into 3. No need to write 1. Okay, so 2 into 3 is 6. 6 is the answer. Okay. Number 2, division of a fraction by a whole number. To divide a fractional number by a non-zero whole number, we multiply the fraction number by the multiplicative inverse of the whole number. For example, 1 by 3 divided by 3. 1 by 3 into 1 by 3. Okay, so 1 into 1 is 1, 3 into 3 is 9. Okay, number 3, division of fraction by another fraction. To divide a fraction number by another fraction number, we multiply the fractional number, that is dividend, by the multiplicative inverse of the other fraction number. For example, 3 by 4 divided by 1 by 4. So 3 by 4 into 4 by 1. Okay, 4 goes and 3. 3 is the answer, right? Next, division of decimal numbers. Sargam was preparing a design to decorate her scrape file. She needed a few colored ribbons of length 1.5 centimeter each. She had a ribbon of length 10.5 centimeter. How many pieces of the required length will she get out of this ribbon? She thought it would be 10.5 divided by 1.5. Is she correct? But both 10.5 and 1.5 are decimal numbers. So she needs to know the division of decimal numbers. Okay. So different cases of division of decimals. Number 1, when dividing a decimal by 10, 100, 1000, etc. Method, on dividing a number by 10, 100, 1000, the digits of the number and quotient are same, but the decimal point in the quotient shifts to left by 1, 2, 3 places. Okay. For example, 3.27 divided by 10. Now this time while dividing, we will shift decimal towards left side. Okay, there is 1 0, so we will shift this decimal towards left only 1. So we will get 0.327. Okay, next is 3.27 divided by 100. Now 1 and 2, but there is no other digit, so write here 0. Okay, so what will we get? And here also 0. Okay, so 0.0327, right? This is method 1. Number 2, dividing a decimal by a whole number method. Number 1, divide the dividend considering it as a whole number. And number 2, when the division of whole number part of the dividend is complete, mark the decimal point in the quotient and proceed with the division as in case of whole number. For example, we have to divide this number, which is 149.236. Okay, 8 ones are 8, 6, 8 8s are 64, 5. Now there is decimal, so then put a decimal here, bring down 2, 8 6 are 48, 12 minus 8 is 4, and then 3, 8 5s are 40, 3, and then 6, okay, 8 4s are 32, 4, and then you can write a 0 here, you can add a 0 here because there is already a decimal. So 8 5s are 40. Okay, so this is the answer, 18.6545, right? Number 3, dividing a decimal by a decimal method. Number 1, convert the divisor into a whole number by multiplying it by 10, 100, 1000, etc. depending upon the number of decimal places in it. Also, we multiply the dividend by the same multiplier. Number 2, divide the new dividend by the whole number obtained above. Okay, for example, we have to divide 22.08 by 1.5. Okay, so first, what will you do? First, we will convert the divisor, means this one, into a whole number. So by multiplying 10, this number will be converted into whole number. So if you are multiplying 10 here, then you will also multiply numerator by 10. Okay, so you will get here 15 and you will get here, okay, multiplying. So this point will shift here, 220.8. Now you can divide it. Okay, 220.8. 15 ones are 15. 12 minus 5 is 7, and then 0. 15 fours are 60. Then decimal, put a decimal here, bring down 8. Okay, now 15 sevens are 105. 3, then add a 0, 15 twos are 30. Okay, so 14.72 is the answer. Number 4, dividing a whole number by a decimal. For example, 9 divided by 0.3. Okay. 9 divided by 0.3. So 9 by 0.3. Okay, so you will what will you do? Multiply by 10 and here also. So you will get 90 by 3, that is 30. Okay, and number 5, quotient as decimal in division of whole number. Example, 8 divided by 5. So divide 8 by 5. 5 ones are 5. 3 decimal 0, 5 6 are 30. So 1.6 is the answer. Okay, now let's do exercise 6.1. We have to evaluate 2.2 plus 1 4 by 7 minus 4.5 plus 2 8 by 35. Okay, 2.2 converted into mixed fraction. It is in mixed fraction, converted into improper fraction. 1 7s are 7 plus 4 11 by 7 minus 4.5 plus 35 2s are 70 plus 8 is 78 by 35. Now what will you do? You will take the LCM of 7 and 35. So what will you get? After taking LCM, 7 ones are 7, 5 5s are 35, 5 ones are 5. So LCM is 35 only. Okay. So you will multiply 2.2 by 35 plus 11. Here you will multiply by 5 minus 4.5. You will multiply by 35, and here no need to multiply. You can write it 978. Okay. Then you will find the product. Okay. Then you will add these two numbers. Okay, or you can also do like this. This product and this product will be added, and then after getting the sum, you will subtract this product. Okay, and then express the number in the mixed fraction. Okay. Continuate fractions. Fractions of the form. Look carefully, these are called continuate fractions. So how we evaluate these kind of fractions? So to evaluate, we first start at the bottom and then we work upwards. Okay, starting from the bottom, we will work up towards the top. Okay, see, 3 plus 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 2 plus 1 by 2. Okay, first we will solve this fraction. Okay, 3 plus 1, 2 minus 1 is what? 5 by 2. Okay. Now, what will you get? 3 plus 1 by 2 minus 2 by 5. Okay, why 2 by 5? Because this is what? 1 divided by 5 by 2. So, we will write it as 1 into 2 by 5. That is 2 by 5. Okay. Now, solve this fraction. 3 plus 1 upon 5, 10 minus 2 is what? 8 by 5. Then you will write here 3 plus 5 by 8. Okay, 5 by 8. Now LCM is 8, multiply by 8, 3 into 8 is 24 plus 5, 29 by 8. Okay, or then you will convert it into mixed fraction, 3, 5 by 8, right? Next, LCM and HCF. For the fractions in the lowest terms, LCM is equals to LCM of numerators upon HCF of denominators, and HCF is HCF denominators and LCF numerators, right? Example 1, we have to find the LCM of 3 by 5, 21 by 25 and 14 by 15, okay? Let's do this example, okay? You should remember the formula. Okay, so we have to find the LCM. LCM is what? LCM of numerators upon HCF of denominators, right? So see, LCM of numerators means 3, 21 and 40. 3, 21 and 14. We will find LCM of these numbers. 3 ones are 3, 3 7s are 14, then 14. 7 ones are 7, 1s 2 and 7 threes are 21 and 21 2s are 42. So the LCM is a 42, okay, of numerator. Now we have 42. We have to find the HCF of denominators. Okay, in denominators we have 5, 25 and 15. Okay, find the HCF. 5, 15, 25. 5 1s are 5, 5 3s are 15, 5 5s are 25. So HCF is what? 5 only. Okay, so we will write here HCF 5. Now 42 by 5 is what? We will convert this improper fraction into mixed number. 82 by 5 is the answer. Okay, so students, you have to remember this formula. Okay, next, LCM and HCF of decimals. Follow the following steps. Step 1, make the number of decimal places in all the given fractions equal. Add zeros if required. Step 2, find LCM or HCF ignoring the decimal points. And step 3, in the result, mark the decimal point after as many decimal places as there were in step 1. Okay. For example, we have to find the LCM and HCF of 1.2, 0.60 and 0.144. So solution according to step 1 given above, example, making the number of decimal places in all the fractions equal. What will we get? See, we will get, we have 1.2, 0.60 and 0.144. Okay, so we have to make them equal. So what will we write here? 1 point, maximum places are, decimal places are 3 here, 1, 2, 3. So you will add 2 zeros here, 1 0 here and 0.144 as it is. Now we will ignore decimal points, so we get 1200, 600 and 144. Okay, now we will find the LCM of these numbers. Okay, so LCM of these numbers is, LCM is 3600 and HCF is what? 24. So LCM of these number is, now put the decimal, 3.600 and HCF, this is LCM. And what will be the HCF? HCF is 24, 1, 2, 3 decimal, 0.024. Okay. Now terminating and non-terminating decimals. Number 1, terminating decimals. Let us consider the following division. 1 by 5. See, if you divide 1 by 5, let's divide it. Put a decimal here and add 0. 5 2s are 10. Okay, so you will get 0.2 as answer. Okay, or you can write 0.20. Now divide 3.42 by 6. Okay, 6, 3.42. You will put a decimal here. 3 5s are 30. 4, then bring down to 6 7s are 42. Answer is 0.57. Okay. In these two examples, we have seen that remainder is 0, means division is exact, no remainder left, right? Now, the quotients of such divisions are called terminating decimals. Okay. Number 2, non-terminating decimals. Let us consider 4 by 7. Let's divide this fraction. Okay. Put a decimal and 0 here. 7 5s are 35. Okay. Then 5 0. 7 7s are 49. 1 0. 7 1s are 7. 3 0. 7 4s are 28. 2 0. 7 2s are 14. 6 0. 7 8s are 56. 4 0. 7 5s are 35. Then 5, then 0. And in this way, this division will not get the remainder. Okay. So in this example, the division never ends, no matter how long it continues. It will continue. Okay. The quotient of such divisions are called non-terminating decimals. Okay. Next, recurring decimals. In this type of decimals, the division never comes to an end and a digit or a block of digit repeats itself again and again. In such numbers, the division never terminates. Okay. For example, these decimals numbers can be represented by putting a bar or dot. For example, 0.333333. So you will write 0.3 and then you will put a bar. Okay. 0.222. What will you do? You will put a bar. 0. Or you can write 0.2 only. Okay. Exercise 6.2. We have to evaluate 1. This is the continued fraction. Okay. Let's do it. 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1 by 2. Okay. We start from the bottom. 1 plus 1 by, take the LCM 2, 3. So 1 plus 2 by 3. Okay. Now take the LCM 3, 3 plus 2. 5 by 3 is the answer, or you can convert it into mixed number. Okay. 5 by 3 is 1, 2 by 3. Right, students? Now you will do practice of the remaining questions of this exercise. Now, learning outcomes. Number 1, fraction is a number which can be expressed in the form a by b. 2, fractions with same denominator are like fractions. 3, fractions with different denominators are unlike fractions. 4, fractions in which the numerator is less than the denominator are known as proper fractions. 5, fractions in which the numerator is greater than the denominator are known as proper fractions. 5, fractions in which the numerator is greater than the denominator are called improper fractions. 6, fractions which are a combination of whole number and fractions are called mixed fractions. 7, if the numerator and denominator of a fraction are multiplied or divided by the same whole number, not 0, we get a fraction which is equivalent to given fractions. 8, a fraction whose denominator is any of the numbers, that is 10, 100, 1000, etc. is called a decimal fraction. 9, a fraction whose denominator is a whole number other than 10, 100, 1000, etc. is called vulgar fraction. Okay. And number 10, the numbers expressed in decimal forms are called decimals. 11, decimals having the same number of decimal places are called like decimals. 12, decimals having different number of decimal places are called unlike decimals. Students, I hope you have understood this chapter. Now keep doing practice of this chapter.